All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Seattle Seahawks in today's video. 42-29 road loss, primetime television last night against the Detroit Lions, one of the best teams, not only in the NFC, but in the NFL in general. And it's so funny, actually, because what I took away from that Seahawks loss was a lot of good stuff. Like Geno Smith just threw a career-high 395 passing yards. He's leading the NFL in passing yards with just a little under 1,200. We're seeing rushing touchdowns with the Seattle Seahawks offense like we haven't seen before. Jason Peters was just signed, but for the most part, my issues offensively has absolutely nothing to do with the talent or the personnel. Ryan Grubb's done a phenomenal job. The only thing is offensive line health. That's it for me. Defensively, it's actually funny because, the Seahawks and the Lions are like two fan bases that I post just a ton of content on. I love watching these teams. I actually, love these teams. I love the Seahawks. And it's just funny to me how each fan base, even though the Lions just won 42-29, people are pissed off about their defensive performance. And even though the Seahawks are in year one with just 1 month in the season and you're missing 6 starters on the defensive side, it's just kind of funny. Like, I know he gave up 42 points and the stats aren't great, but it's just funny how like both fan bases are just like so pissed off at their defenses. But with Seattle, first off, Ben Johnson's a genius. Like, he's an offensive guru. He knows exactly what he's doing. You're in your first season, first month with a rookie head coach and a bunch of new coaching staff guys, right? No more Pete Carroll. And you're missing 6 defense starters. Like, how do you think the defense is going to do? All right. Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Seahawks in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post a ton of Seahawks videos on this channel, win or lose. Try and get this one to 100 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So one big thing I've been like just kind of preaching with this Seahawks team is the amount of depth they have, whether you're specifically on the defense, but especially on the offense as well. Defensively, the roster, like as far as just roster goes, top to bottom, when all these kids are healthy, is one of the best in the league, in my opinion. And the craziest part is it's extremely young. But depth is something they certainly are not lacking. The point still stands. If you're missing almost half of your, pretty much over half of your defensive starters in any football game, whether you're the Chiefs, you're the Ravens, you're the Lions, you're the Seahawks, all 32 teams in the NFL, offensively or defensively, if you're missing over half of your starters, things probably are not going to go into plan or go to plan. And another thing I think in just games like this, and we've seen it the last 3 straight years, like Seattle, Detroit has turned into like this electric NFC Championship type of football game where Goff's throwing for a bunch, Geno Smith's throwing for a bunch. Like, it's just offensive shootouts. When I have 2 teams like this, and in my opinion, by far, these are 2 of the best teams in the NFC, whether you win or lose, or no matter what either of their team records are, and they're both 3-1. All I care about is the win. Now, obviously, when you get into the playoffs, that's a long ways from now. But the secondary didn't hold up well, but that's probably because they weren't generating much pressure. And I get it. You still have Jerron Reed and, $15 million a year, Tremont Jones, and you got Derek Hall, a top 40 pick. All I want is a win. And especially when you're down 2 touchdowns after the first quarter, your game plan's just going to change. And the worst statistic, I would say, has nothing to do with that you just threw up 42 points or you just got 42 thrown up on you. The worst statistic to me was that Jared Goff did not have an incompletion. That is the first time in NFL history, if I'm not mistaken. And, that just can't happen, right? It can't happen. Even if it's dink and dunk and 18 attempts isn't that much. I'm sure it's going to be, the lowest Jared Goff throws for the whole season, but no incompletion certainly isn't good. But let's talk about the good, all right? Through 4 games, Geno Smith leads the NFL in passing yards, completions, pass attempts, and first downs. He's also sitting pretty, second in completion percentage at 72.3%. Now, the touchdowns aren't necessarily on the board. He's got a 4-to-4 touchdown to interception ratio, but he's playing incredible. And I just want to say, like, Geno's ascending, and he has been ascending into star-ish status. 2 years ago, comeback player of the year. But the inefficiency, the lack of production, just the poor coaching, the poor offensive line injuries, all of that just kind of put the Seahawks last year out of NFL media talk, and just people weren't really paying too much attention to the Seahawks because, like I said, offensive efficiency. I think Geno only threw 20 touchdowns last year. There's a lot more to the story that those statistics show. And even though he's got 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, like, he's playing incredible. And the Seattle Seahawks are 3-1. They're 3-1. That's all that I really care about. Kenneth Walker, coming back from his oblique injury, had 12 carries, 80 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Geno Smith also had 5 carries for 38 yards. I would love to see more Zach Charbonnet in the running attack. But once again, their game plan, you only saw 12 carries from your running back, starting running back. You only saw 14 running back carries in the whole game. That's what happens when you're down 2 touchdowns after the first quarter. All right. That's what happens when you're down 21-7 after the first half. And there was a bunch of just kind of annoying stuff. Like the DK Metcalf fumble changed the entire football game. It really did. And I saw both Lions and Seahawks fans commenting about that last night. Like, I'm not going to play coulda, woulda, shoulda. But that stuff can't happen. DK can't fumble like that in these big time games, especially, I know you guys don't want to jump the gun, but I'll jump the gun for you. When you start getting into the playoffs, and this was a playoff game, if this is the NFC divisional game, that DK Metcalf fumble cannot happen. Tyler Lockett, I also think, got screwed with that offensive pass interference. But the point is, man, it really was like a good loss, all things considered. Once again, I know the Lions offense in the first 3 weeks doesn't look like they did last night, but this is unanimously the Lions, one of the best offenses in the NFL, not just the NFC. And, Ben Johnson, to me, like that pass to Jared Goff, like that's just a great example of how good this offense is to stop. And then you factor in that you're missing 6 starters. Julian Love goes down with an injury. He misses the whole second half. Leonard Williams and Nwosu's coming back. Byron Murphy's banged up. Mafi's banged up. Like, Jerome Baker didn't participate. The rush defense was not great. And I just think, like, all of these defensive issues come with how many starters you're missing. And like I said, to play devil's advocate, I can understand, like, you still got Vermont Jones, you still got Teron Reed, you still got Derek Hall, and the no incompletions is unacceptable. The run defense in general is unacceptable, but it's just week 4, 2 great, really, really good football teams just going head to head in an offensive shootout. All of this defensive stuff, it will be figured out in the next couple of weeks / months. You got a really nice, friendly opponent this upcoming weekend, hopefully in the New York Giants. And I fully anticipate no matter who plays or who doesn't play, the Seattle Seahawks defense will get back on track here. So that's it for me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But Seahawks fans, give me all of your thoughts, good and bad, down below. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in a couple of days.